My name is Andy Wilde and I have a brain tumour, and the brain tumour is the cause of my epilepsy. I am now on 2 different types of anticonvulsants. I take 3 grams of Keppra and 450 milligrams of lamotrigine per day. I have about 5 partial seizures daily. I was on a regime where I was also taking 40 milligrams of clobazam per day, and at that time I was having 10 seizures daily. But about a year ago, even on 3 different anticonvulsants, the frequency and severity of my seizures started to increase. This started to curtail my life even further. It meant I found it even harder and harder to do the things I valued in life, like playing in the park with my 5-year-old daughter. And then I heard of the ketogenic diet, something that might be able to reduce the frequency and severity and recovery time of my seizures. The ketogenic diet did have an effect. After a couple of months, the effects of my seizures had started to reduce and I felt comfortable in trying to wean myself off the clobazam. My neurologist was in agreement with this and gave me a weaning off strategy. This took many months, but I have now been off the clobazam for 4 months and I've gained a lot more energy and I can concentrate for much longer, and that is good. Now I only need 3 espressos in the morning to get me going as opposed to the 13 I was taking before. I can't overemphasise how important it has been for me to get my energy and concentration back. My quality of life has improved so much. In between the seizures, I am now more involved in life, and that is really important. By chance I heard of the ketogenic diet. My wife is a health visitor and one of her clients mentioned it to her in passing. I researched it, but I could not get access to advice and support from the National Health Service, but the information about the diet is out there. With proper support and information you can find out what is good and not so good for the diet, and after a while it becomes second nature. You recognise what foods will keep you on the diet, you get used to weighing things, and in time by just looking at a meal you can roughly tell what the carbohydrate value will be. I have found this has got easier over time, and because it has such an effect on the amount of and severity of the seizures I have a really big incentive to stick to the diet. Initially, being on the diet, I missed some things. Mostly I missed texture. I like crunching my food, but crisps are too high in carbohydrate, but I got around that by substituting nuts for crisps. Same was for chocolate. Instead of eating a lot of milk chocolate, I swapped to eating small amounts of dark chocolate. I have a family and we always ate together, and it was important to me that we still did that. I didn't want the ketogenic diet to stop that, but it doesn't. You have to rethink what you're going to eat, but once you've got your head around it, it becomes a fairly easy diet to follow, and family meals are shared. To keep my fat intake up, I might just eat the skin with the chicken and put some cheese on my meal, whereas my family will not add those things to the meal, but have some potatoes instead. And eating out is not a problem. Everywhere seems to offer a meat dish and salad. In fact, I had more trouble eating out when I was a vegetarian. After one of the visits to the neurologist, I was particularly disheartened, and because of that visit, this painting arose. I went there to discuss reducing the drugs, and he recommended trying a new one, which meant that I'd be taking 4 different anticonvulsants while my body was weaned off one of the other drugs. It was then that I realised that with the drugs and the seizures, I would never manage to be rid of the fatigue. I would never be able to square that circle. But now I feel much more positive about life. In using the ketogenic diet, I'm gaining some control of my seizures. I'm not just taking pills, I'm playing an active part in controlling my life, and that feels good.